So here is the Harvey T60s. I've been able to play with it for a little bit, but haven't been able to use it until this bowl. Overall, it looks really good and it's super sturdy. I've been pretty happy with the initial screwing around with it. There have been a couple of learning curve issues that I've had to get through, which I will cover as I go through it. Nothing too terrible. The lathe comes with two different start systems, basically. There's an electrical box that powers everything, which is on the bottom right, and then the normal controls that you would expect. So you turn that red knob and you hit the blue start button. That gives everything power. There's a remote switch there, and then that's the main control that works like you would expect a normal lathe to. I'm going to go to the regular recording so you can hear how quiet it is. There we go. That is pretty darn quiet. And I'm actually going to take off this piece and let it go at full speed, or a higher speed, just so you can hear how quiet it actually is. And there we go. So that's 2000. I'm pretty happy with that. That is super quiet. The servo motor then lets it stop a lot faster than other lathes that I've used, so happy with that. So you can see as I'm going through this and trying to get it round and just beginning to work on the piece that the wood freezes a couple of times, and I would increase the speed and was making some adjustments, and it was really dumb of me, but I did not think to check the how tight everything was. I thought I had pressed down on the levers well enough that everything was secure, and I did not. So that was really dumb. I do eventually figure it out and uh, press down on both the headstock and the tailstock. It turned out that I had not pushed the headstock lever down tightly enough. So every time I would adjust the tailstock to get it tighter, the headstock was moving away, and I just didn't notice it. So lesson learned. I'll definitely press down a lot harder and make sure things are not moving as I'm adjusting. That could have been a pretty unsafe problem. Here I'm using a Hercules #3 tool, which I don't normally use on wood, but I have a big roughing bowl gouge coming. It just hasn't arrived yet. I normally use this for epoxy projects, which I think I'll be doing next, but it did a really good job. I was really happy with it. I had some issues with being able to undo the screw and adjust the cutting tip, and I called Hunter directly, and Mike Hunter answered the phone, which never happens in a business like that. And he was very helpful in getting me through the trouble so that I could keep going with my project. So kudos to him. So there's a rather large crack that I thought I had filled in with epoxy before, but apparently not well enough. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll come back once it's all dry and sealed and keep going. So starting to do some shaping of the bowl. Again, not really the tool I would normally use for this, but my bowl gouge is a little small, and I prefer to use a bigger one to start this. In any case, it worked. I got through it, so no big deal. You'll find in the rest of the video that I skipped a lot of spots. I did not show the crack like I intended to. I actually did show it, but my camera ran out of battery, and I didn't realize it. So there's a little bit of skipping around. Not the most complete video ever, but it does show the process that I was going through. Here I've actually already hollowed out most of the bowl and am shaping the outside a little bit better before I turn it over. So yeah, a lot of missteps, but you will get to see the final product and some of the finishing. So I've gotten to where I wanted and starting sanding from 80 all the way to 320, both inside and out. Sanding is boring as hell, so I'm not going to force you to watch all that nonsense. I'm using Atomic Finishes oil on this bowl. I'm actually working on a finish of my own, and I bought a bunch of the name brands out there just to see what they look like. And so I'm kind of working my way through those just to use them up. I actually really like this. It was really nice going on. I let it sit like it said for an hour, and it made the wood a lot darker than I expected, but I think it's a really nice finish. And it's time for the final step of hooking it up to the vacuum chuck and getting rid of the tenon on the bottom. It's the first time using this vacuum chuck for me, and it does hold pretty well, but just in case I did use some pretty light cuts. And here's the final product with a stabilized crack. I think it turned out pretty well for the most part. I'm really happy with the lathe. It operates just like it should, basically just like the Powermatic or Jet that I was using before. But I'm happy with this choice, and I'll be sticking with it for a while, so I'll get out there and try to make some more things.